All right, here we are. The last trap. The last of the relationship traps. Trap number 10. Missing out on your chance to find true love. We're just going to start off with this concerning trap number 10 for relationships. By talking about the value of a dream girl. And how do you get your dream girl? Well, it starts with this, which this is probably not a surprise to most dudes, but at the same time might come as a major surprise to most dudes. It just depends on what angle you're looking at it from. But in terms of getting your dream girl, that first starts with dealing with yourself. Because yes, this might be a cliche to some, and it might not be a cliche to others. But in terms of being able to get a dream girl, that's going to start with being able to perfect yourself and you becoming your ideal self. Because I'm sure you've heard it said, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. But I don't think dudes, well, first thing, I don't think dudes take that seriously enough, and I don't think dudes really understand the full context of that. Because in terms of what you are, we're talking about what you're emanating. And this is not going to be something that's greatly influenced in any way that really matters with just saying positive thoughts to yourself, or just going out to the gym and getting your physique more together, or just making more money. We're talking about changing the core software, the system that governs what you're going to emanate in terms of energy in the first place. You got to go inside and you have to deconstruct. You have to deconstruct. Deconstruct within, and that's how you get to a place where through these energy blocks being undone, you can emanate a more positive energy and get yourself to a place where you attract what you are, because you're emanating a frequency of love, of compassion, of acceptance, of someone that cares, and you will attract that back to you in the form of your ideal woman. Anything else in terms of going on the dating market and just talking to a bunch of women and this and that, that'll give you more than what you'll get if you just marry and settle for the first girl that decides she'll hook up with you and marry you. Yes, but if you want the ideal one, if you want a woman that is perfect for you, you are going to have to change the very core of who you are. Period. You have to ask yourself, are you the ideal man? Are you the ideal man? Be real. And then ask yourself, if you're not the ideal man, which you're not the ideal man. That's just a fact. Just period. If you think you're the ideal, if you think you're the ideal man and you're watching this video, okay, something's off. All right, you're not the ideal man if you're watching this video. Okay, I don't even consider myself the ideal man. So let's just come correct on that. I have a lot of work to still do on myself, despite all the work I've already done on myself. But I am in a far better position to attract the type of women I want based on the work I have done on myself. See, when you do real work on yourself and you change the energy that emanates, you're going to get not just what resonates coming back to you, being attracted to, but you're going to end up with someone in just an environment as a whole that's more truthful, that's just more loyal. And it's not necessarily just about loyalty. We get caught up in the whole idea of loyalty, but really, I think a lot of loyalty, which men want to see from women and which men complain about women lacking, I think a lot of loyalty actually comes from truth. Ultimately, if a woman feels that you represent something that's true, that's real, that's authentic, this is automatically going to be loyal to that authenticity, because that authenticity translates into power, and it translates into this magnetic pull that pulls her towards you. Ultimately, a woman's going to be loyal to whatever core energy you emanate. And if you're emanating core energy of deception, or if you're emanating a core energy of uncertainty, of low self-esteem, then those type of signals being received by her mind are going to translate in such a way where she does things that you consider disloyal. So in terms of a dream girl, you have to ask yourself, what would make you the dream man for another woman? Well, you'd have to be confident. You have to have at least some level of intelligence and intellectual curiosity. You'd have to be caring and loving. If you're not caring and loving and you're closed off and you just hate the world and you how things are and you feel disgruntled towards women, then if you do end up getting a woman, that's the kind of woman you're going to attract. She's going to show all the traits of someone who, in one way or another, feels those same types of energies. All right? And it may not translate as clearly and obvious as you expect it to. You may have a certain negative feeling towards women and their ability to be loyal. And she might just look at you like you don't value her. Okay, you may have not actually done anything on the surface to make her think that you don't value her, but in terms of her version of what you're feeling in regards to thinking she's going to be disloyal is to think that you just don't value her, even if you've shown no outward signs that you don't value her. So, in terms of the value of a dream girl, because ultimately you get the fact that, hey, you do need to go in and perfect yourself. And you have to have a willingness to do that, because if you do perfect yourself, you get yourself to a point where there is detachment and you're not stressing about the right woman coming along. And the result of not stressing about the right woman coming along is that this creates a sense of detachment and equanimity within you that women are able to pick up. This is received as confidence and just a certain level of certainty within yourself, a certain level of self-esteem that they're going to find very attractive. So putting that to the side, let's talk about the value of a dream girl if you manage to pull this off. What is the value of a dream girl? Well, imagine someone who does have your back. Imagine someone who actually inspires you. Imagine someone who physically has their shit together. Imagine someone who mentally has their shit together. Imagine someone who's creative. Imagine someone who is a wonderful mother figure. If she doesn't already have kids, you already see the capacity for her to be able to have kids. Imagine someone who's caring to the extent where she, of course, wants to do a lot of the things that a lot of men think, women are good at, or they love to see women do, which is cook a good meal in the kitchen, or maybe she massages your back after work, or massages your shoulders, or massages your feet, ask how you're doing, and is just caring and loving and has your back. Also, ask yourself what it would feel like to have a woman that is your best friend, where you can talk about literally anything. Imagine being able to feel just open and free to express yourself as you are and not having to put on a front for your woman. Because even men that are with women that they've been with for years hide so much of themselves. And I'm sure this is something that women do with men too. But don't get me wrong, if you're around someone enough, you will end up being in an environment where you are more comfortable than the average environment you're in expressing yourself. But still, there is so much of yourself that you don't let your woman know about. And some of this stuff, or I would say a lot of this stuff, is rooted in certain undealt trauma and energy blockages that result in you desiring things or desiring to be a way that would not be aligned with what the relationship you're in currently is. For example, maybe there's a part of you that really wanted to be more spiritual and go deeper into Buddhism, for example. But your woman is a hardcore Catholic or Christian. Like, she's really about that. And initially, this didn't seem to matter to you because you all seem to get along so well, whether you met in a bar or a club or in a friend group or something. But now this is something that is more meaningful to you, something that actually matters to you, but it's not something you can really express because you are so deep into the relationship. And based on what you understand about her at this point, if you go down that path, that's going to seem to be too much in conflict in terms of what she's about and her commitment to her religion. And yet, this may have not mattered to you early in the relationship because you weren't really on any spiritual path or you had no interest in Buddhism or anything like that, but there was something that happened along the way in your relationship. So sometimes things can unfold in ways you don't expect them to because you allowed yourself to get in a situation where you met a person and you haven't yet created enough, or we should say developed enough clarity within yourself that ends up resulting in the desired outcome in terms of a relationship where you understand each other and you're open to separate paths that you two may eventually choose to be on. Or ultimately, change is okay. You don't need your partner to be one way. Ultimately, you just want to make sure that you're about expansion within the relationship, but you're not going to experience expansion if you yourself are not willing to expand, or if you started things out with a woman in a way that never allowed the possibility for either of you to be able to change or expand at one point in the relationship. Because if you meet a woman and she's closed-minded in the beginning, and you either are unwilling to ask enough questions or explore enough to find out, or you're just too blind to it in the answer she gives to certain direct questions as a result of a lack of work you've done in yourself, and then you end up in a situation where you all just box each other into a way you have to be. And if one person decides to expand themselves eventually, this results in conflict and the relationship falls apart. But the value of a dream girl, well, I'll put it this way. It is everything you want it to be and more. In terms of how it will feel, in terms of how connected you'll feel to her, you'll connect with her in a way just sitting on a couch with her and saying nothing than you ever could during sex. That's just what it is. But this is something that, of course, results in you developing yourself. An ideal relationship goes far beyond what you're going to see in the movies and the shows and what you've previously experienced. But this doesn't get talked about a lot in the mainstream. There's a incredibly intense, blissful nature that comes along with it. And there is such a thing as twin flames and high-level soulmates. And there's a lot of details surrounding these type of titles, these labels, that really get misconstrued and they're not really known about in the mainstream. There's a lot of misinformation out there about what a twin flame and a high-level soulmate is, okay? But I will tell you this, I'll tell you this right now, real quick. A high-level soulmate is better than a twin flame. Even though in rare cases you'll have twin flames actually come together and form. There's all these dynamics and complexities involving twin flames and high-level soulmates that are just so misunderstood. And I'll do a video later at some point in the fact, if you go back far enough in the video catalog, you'll see I've done a video on twin flames and just my whole connection with that. And when I did do that video, I had a misunderstanding of what a twin flame really was. I understood a good chunk of it. Don't get me wrong, I understood a lot of it in regards to a twin flame relative to what a high-level soulmate is. Okay? But understand what you want. What you do want is a high-level soulmate. But here's the thing about high-level soulmates. You're not going to be able to have a high-level soulmate if you don't work yourself, because this really is a spiritual thing. This goes beyond the physical. Anything you think in terms of what an ideal woman is, and for the women, what an ideal man is obviously been colored heavily by what you've been indoctrinated with in mainstream society. Okay, in terms of what you've been exposed to in regards to the media, in regards to social media, in regards to your friend groups or from your family. Okay, you have a fucked up false idea of what true love is and how to actually attain it. You're not close, but you're free. You're free to keep going and keep trying and getting in these relationships and being on these highs that are really no more than just puppy love, and then watching everything fall apart again and again. Or, you know what? You're free to get in a relationship and be together for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years and have multiple kids and grandkids and still deep down be disgruntled and dissatisfied with the relationship, but endlessly deny it to yourself because it's too painful to acknowledge that you fucked up and you never actually did attain true love. You just thought because you met someone you liked or maybe loved more than the people before that, oh, that was true love. No, it's not. Now, it doesn't mean there are not people out there who actually have found the true love and actually have that high-level soulmate type connection. But it's extremely rare. It doesn't matter if you see a celebrity or you see someone who has a popular YouTube channel or someone on TikTok or someone anywhere online who claims they have a really deep high-level soulmate connection or a twin flame connection. It doesn't mean they're telling the truth. Now, maybe there's a couple that are. I'm not saying that everyone's a liar, but most motherfuckers are fucking liars. It's just a fact. Not everybody, but just most people. Most people are. It's just what society is. We've been trained to lie and bullshit and all of that. All right? There's a high that's far more than a high that you have the potential to experience in perpetuity if you connect with a high-level soulmate. But here's the thing about that. If you're experiencing that with the high-level soulmate, understand to a very high extent, a very high level, you were already experiencing that before you drew the soulmate into your life. And if you've not been experiencing that, the chances are whoever you're with is not really your soulmate. Okay? You just may have had a good 6 months, a good year, a good couple of years. You have to understand, a good relationship does not mean it's the ideal relationship. Get that out of your head. All right? You may feel disgruntled hearing this because you'll be like, well, I'm with this person and this and this and this and this is great. How are you going to say this? And judge like, dude, I don't know. I have no idea what relationship you're in or if you are the real deal. But most people who claim they're in a twin flame relationship or high level soulmate relationship are not. I've seen situations where you have celebrities claiming this celebrity is their twin flame and this and that. And then several months later, or maybe several years later, they're broken up. Okay, that's not a twin flame connection. Well, actually, the twin flame connection is complicated, but that's not a high-level soulmate connection. And it's not a twin flame connection either because in terms of the complexities surrounding twin flames, you have people talk about twin flames in a way that's oversimplified and does not put any of it into its appropriate context. Because when you talk about twin flames, you really want to talk about twin flames in the context of high-level soulmates because it's with those descriptions that you can get the clearest understanding of what each of these are. If you settle on some low level, you're going to know because your spirit's going to tell you. And here's another thing. If you settle in your relationship, here's what's going to ultimately happen. The talks are just going to become routine and mundane. You'll have some laughs, but it's just going to be routine and mundane stuff. The sex is going to become boring, and you'll have sex here and there, but it's going to become lesser and lesser, and just when you have sex, it's going to be more disappointing. And you're going to fantasize, the woman's going to fantasize, the man's going to fantasize about being with someone else. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but it's going to be far more persistent than you would like it to be. And you're going to feel far more stretches of dissatisfaction than you would like to feel. And you're going to just wonder far more about what could have been than you would like to be wondering. It'll just be ultimately, you'll get to the end of your life, like, well, this was all right, and my wife loves me, or my husband loves me, blah, 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 blah. But you'll know deep down that you did it wrong. Because ultimately, if at the core, if not rooted deep within in terms of how you lived your life, if you didn't live your life from a place of alignment with source, then you're always going to come up short in terms of what things could have been. And not just short, you're going to come up well short of what they could have been. Whatever you've experienced pales in comparison to what you experienced if you were alive. All right? We're talking about, if you settle, we're talking about endless days and weeks and months and years and decades of wondering what could have been. And this will happen often if you are watching a movie or watching a TV show or on social media and you see other couples that seem to have what you thought was the ideal relationship. Because what you'll realize is when you get into this relationship that you think is ideal, eventually you're going to get to a point where you realize it's not ideal. Because that happens to almost everybody. But if you're in deep enough, and if you've had kids, then you just want to stick it out. It's not worth going through the trouble of hitting the dating market again and all that shit. So you're just going to go ahead and stick it out, see it through. You're going to do it because it's simpler. You're going to do it for the kids and blah, 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 blah. I don't believe in all that shit, by the way, in terms of just staying in a relationship for the kids. I think that's complete, utter bullshit. You're in this life. You want to have a life that's peaceful. You want to have a life that's joyous. And I'm talking about a deep level of peace. I'm talking about a high level of joy. You can have that, but it takes deep internal work. You can take it seriously or not, but I'm just telling you, that's what it is. I've said it a bunch of times, I'll say it a bunch more times. All right? If you settle, you're always going to know you settled. And on your deathbed, you're going to know you settled. And what will really kind of suck, and there's going to be a pretty high chance of this happening, right before you die, you will realize that you fucked up. Because you'll realize, I should have lived my life in a way that was far more tied to just being. And the only way you're going to get to a place where your life could really be tied or can be rooted in the commitment to being is to commit to internal work. Because in undoing the energy blocks within, it's going to put you more in alignment with the universe, which puts you in a more present state. And therefore, if you are present, you're in a state of being. Now let's talk about endless shitty relationship reality. as if this is the way it should be. All right, you know what one of my favorite movies is? I fucking love this movie. Lost in Translation with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. That movie is the shit. I love that movie. I love the dreamlike quality of their time in Hong Kong, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they were in Hong Kong. And Bill Murray's character was out there to shoot some commercials. He's pretty much a movie star that I guess you could say is a has-been. He's not like at the top anymore, but he's still known and respected in certain corners of the globe. And he's able to go out to Hong Kong and make some money doing some commercials for different companies. I think Liquor was one of the commercials, or I'm not sure. I think Liquor was one of the commercials. But he meets Scarlett Johansson, who's out there with her husband. And I'm not sure if they live out there or he's on a business trip or whatever the case is. But she's with her husband. Giovanni Ribisi is who plays her husband. So anyway, these characters are both going through the motions. Scarlett Johansson is going through the motions in a new relationship, or a new marriage, I think, with her man. And Bill Murray's just going through the motions with his wife, who's back at home with their kids. Now, here's the thing about it. There's a phone call that Bill Murray has where his wife calls him. You can hear in their voices, in their tonality, the tension, maybe the irritation or the annoyance with each other. That's what it seemed like when I heard Bill Murray talking to his wife in the movie. And he's on the phone, placating his wife, agreeing to the color of the carpet, and talking about this and that. And ultimately, everything sounds so robotic and just so routine. And you know there's a redundancy in terms of everything they're saying on the phone. There's no conversation they haven't had before. And him and his wife are talking about the kids. And his wife just seems to have like an undercurrent of resentment in her voice when she speaks to Bill Murray. Okay, and Scarlett Johansson, when it comes to her husband, she seems to sense that there's more in the world to be had, and her husband's just not on the same page. He's just so stuck in his own business ventures and everything he's doing. And that doesn't mean he's doing anything wrong, but you get a sense that what he's doing is something she's trying to understand while simultaneously still trying to understand herself and where she wants to go in life. Now, for anyone who's seen the movie and knows how it ends, first thing, I think the ending in terms of with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson and that final encounter, I'm not going to give too much away because I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it. I think for me, it's one of the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful endings I've ever seen in the movie. I fucking love that movie. All right? But I don't want to spoil it. So spoiler alert. Look, if you haven't seen the movie, fast forward by about 30 seconds, 20, 30 seconds, I'll be past this, but I gotta say this. They go on their separate ways. Scarlett Johansson goes back to her life, Bill Murray goes back to his life. And the movie seems to convey the message that you gotta go through the motions. You know, these people you meet are these incredible potentialities that exist within your life are not something to be embraced or taken seriously. You got to go through the motions and just placate people, and that's just what you do because it's your obligation as a family man or it's your obligation as a wife. Bull fucking shit. All right, that's my take on that. But that movie is fucking wonderful. All right, that's a dope ass movie. So I'm just saying that. I had to express that. I'm finally glad I get that shit on camera. That's a great movie. I can't say enough about it. But on from that, I'm just saying you don't have to settle. And that movie seems to convey the idea that you have to fucking settle or something. Like, no, I don't care if you have a wife. I'm talking about Bill Murray's character. I don't care how long you've been with your wife. I don't care. Ultimately, if it's just if the relationship feels strained and it sounds strained when you're on the phone and it's just routine and boring and there seems to be this undercurrent of resentment in the relationship, then fuck the relationship. Break up. Go find your peace. What are you doing? What are you doing because society tells you have to remain with someone, or you just have to placate or play the family role because this is what convention is, this is what's normal in society? Fuck that. All right, I'm done with that. But I'm just, dude, I've really been wanting to express that point. So yeah, how should men be treated? Men should be treated how they treat themselves. if you truly believe at the base level that you are a motherfucking king, you work on yourself so where you have access to that godly nature within you, you will, at the deepest level, believe you're a fucking king. You won't just believe you're a king. You'll know you're a king. But you won't just know you're a king. You'll know you're a fucking god. And guess what? You're gonna get a woman who comes along and treats you like a motherfucking god. But you have to commit to the work. It's a lifetime commitment. You don't have to take me seriously. You know, you just go live your life and we'll see how it turns out for you, all right? We'll see how it turns out. You can assume I'm wrong. Go live your life. Come back to me in 20 years. We'll see how it turns out for you, all right? How should women be treated? Well, women should know that they are queens. And women, if at your base level you believe you're a queen, if at your base level you know you're a queen, you'll be treated like a queen. You'll attract a man who will treat you like a queen. But not only that, if you do the eternal work, you can know that you are a fucking goddess, and you will attract a man that comes along and treats you like a fucking goddess, like the goddess you are. But you have to do the work. Women, you are angels, you are the lifeblood of this fucking world. I do believe if we had more women in charge, especially at the highest levels of government, this world would be in a much, much, much better place. But we're not there yet. But women, in many ways you do run the world, and soon enough, you'll literally run the world. All right? But I just want to say, know your worth, and don't spend your life just chasing some dude in hopes that they're gonna bring you happiness and provide for you and this and that. You can get that, but really you want to develop yourself to the point where you truly, at the deepest level, know your fucking value, so you can attract a genuine dude who will legitimately know your value. Won't just pretend to know your value, but will know it, will feel it, will value you like you deserve to be valued. But you have to know it first, and you can only really know it by doing deep internal work. You can't just read a few books and tell yourself these ideas a few times. That's not how it's going to work. Commit. Anyway, that was fun. All right, check it out. I'll be back with some different kind of shit is coming up soon. Really, I'm going to be doing some reaction videos, so look out for that. It's going to be mostly in terms of shorts, but I will combine shorts and turn them into long form, so in montage type fashion, or maybe not montage type fashion, I don't know if that's the right wording to use for what this is, but essentially a collection of the shorts is how I think I'll put it, or is how I think it's best to put it. But anyway, that's coming. Yo, man, this 10 relationship trap thing, man, I started this a little too quick because I started doing one trap after another, and then ultimately it just felt like geez, I didn't think I bit off more than I could chew, but it was like, geez, like there's other stuff I want to create, there's other videos I want to do and get on, but I have to finish this trap series. So I think I jumped into this too quickly, committing to 10 videos. But this is the last video of this series. Man, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there was some value. I'm going to keep, obviously, putting out videos. And with time, I'll get better and better in terms of what I do put out. And hopefully, I'll get better at bringing more value to you. That's what I want to do. So this was enjoyable, despite its level of difficulty. This has been 10 relationship traps. And there's no more left. Nothing else to say in terms of what I think are 10 relationship traps. And it doesn't mean there's not many more relationship traps, but I went over the ones I wanted to go over. So there might be more trap videos, but if there are more trap videos, they're going to be individualized, like standalone trap videos. It's not going to be part of a series where it's like 10 parts. So just understand that's what the situation will be. But with that said, I am UMI. This has been a pleasure, and I will see you in the next video.